look at this team, the Bears, I'd be disappointed if they're not making the playoffs this year as a wild card team. I know you have high expectations for them, but I look at as simply as this. This team is better than what they were last year. I know it doesn't always translate to more wins, but you put Caleb Williams on this team, that should instantly, even in a rookie year, put them at 2 wins better, and 9-8 probably makes the postseason from where they were last year at 7-10.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when you put when you get better play at the quarterback position, which I think you will, even though he's a rookie, I think you'll get better quarterback play. I also think that they have a lot better skill position players around him. So when you talk about Swift, you talk about Keenan Allen, you got Rome Odunze, you lock in DJ Moore. I mean, we're talking about a kid, a super talented quarterback coming into quite possibly a perfect environment, right? With I'm not going to use great yet, but with a really good defense, I think, on the other side. So I'm very optimistic about this team. I think they have a real shot. Everybody wants to talk about how great the Detroit Lions are. The Bears, last year's team should have beat them twice. They beat them once. They had them on the ropes. I think Detroit had to score. Sorry about that. My dog's going crazy. But the Detroit, the last game they had, that they had to, I think they had to score like 14 points in the last 3 minutes to beat them, which we're talking about a Bears team that wasn't that good. Now we're talking about a much improved as far as talent-wise, and now the defense with the expectation and some of those young players that were playing good, Stevenson being one, you got that defensive line now that's coming together. I think they're going to be really good. I have high hopes for this team. I really do. I'm not going to say they're going to the Super Bowl, but if you're asking me how far this team could go, and I wouldn't be surprised, it's the NFC Championship game. Very much so like the New Orleans Saints back in 2006, where everybody was kind of shocked, but they had a lot of weapons that came in and just gave that whole team a jolt, and they just kind of rode it until they ran into what was a buzzsaw in the Chicago Bears back then.
Wow. How about that? That would be something if they would be in an NFC title game. I also thought it was very important that they took care of DJ Moore. Not that there's ever character concerns with DJ Moore or Keenan Allen, like Rome Odunze. Like sometimes with wide receivers, right, if they're not getting their touches, we know they could be a pain in the ass. All three of those guys, for the most part, are pretty good character guys. But taking care of DJ Moore now, if there's a game where it's like, hey, Allen and Odunze are the guys and Moore's targets aren't as high as they once were, I think that was very important to get that deal done the other day.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You look at a guy like Robinson that they went and got from, I want to say when they got him from Jacksonville a few years ago. And I think he and DJ were very similar. They played ball and they showed up no matter who the quarterback was. And then when they got to Chicago, Robinson didn't show up like DJ Moore did for DJ Moore showing up for Justin Fields the way he showed up. I think you have to take care of that guy. And then you bring in a Rome Odunze with a top pick. You bring in a veteran like Keenan Allen. You still have to show DJ Moore that you're our guy. You know, you still have to show him that. And I think the Bears did a really good job of doing that they gave him the highest contract in Bears history. So I think he's pretty happy.
Alex Brown here with us. Why are you so confident with this defense? When you look at this defense, you being a good defensive player in this league, why do you think this defense is going to take that next step this year?
Well, first off, I think the team's mantra, the team's attitude comes from the defensive side of football. I think when you saw them playing good football, it was because the defense was playing good football. The defense was controlling the game. The defense was getting after people. They were running around. They were hustling to the football. And I think that was the first kind of year, and not even the year. I think it was the second part of the year. They needed that horse. And when they got that horse, that dog in the middle, and that was Sweat. He's on the outside. But once they got Sweat, I think it allowed the other players to just be themselves. It's like if you took back on our team, look at a 2016 and you took Lance Briggs and you wanted Lance Briggs to be Urlacher, and then you take Hunter Hillemeyer, you tell him to be Lance Briggs. Well, like everybody's kind of out of order there. But once you get Urlacher in there to be Urlacher, now other guys can just be who they are and play within themselves and make plays. And I think That's what happened once Sweat got there. The secondary didn't have to cover for as long because now you got a guy that can get to the quarterback. And with that comes the other guys trying to get to the quarterback. Then you got a guy like Stevenson at corner coming along as a young guy, pushing some of these older guys. And everything just kind of snowballed, and you saw him play probably at a top 5-6 level the last half of the season. If you can get that defense to play a full season with that offense and the firepower that they have, and obviously there's a lot of questions with a rookie quarterback, but I tell you what, he don't have to play like C.J. Stroud for the Bears to really make some hay and get to where the Houston Texans got to last year. And that was just the second round. That wasn't even the championship game.
I think it's a great comparison because, we're a prisoner of the moment. What happened the following, the season before, even though Bryce Young was a disaster in Carolina, Stroud walked into a dumpster fire of a situation, and overnight they were a playoff team, and not only a playoff team, they won a playoff game like you were saying. This situation that Williams is walking into in Chicago, I made the analogy earlier, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I know what you just said about the defensive side of the ball, but you're walking into the bowling alley and the bumpers are up. With how many pieces there around with Allen and Moore and Odunze and the two running backs and Kmet, Williams, even if he's not great right away, he's going to put up a pretty good score, you would think.
I've said this before now, and I truly believe this, okay? So when you go back and you look at it after this show, like after you get finished, go back and look at Jay Cutler's best year. That is what I'm expecting from Williams this year. That's what I'm expecting. I think he will surpass Jay Cutler's best year this year. And I think then everybody in Chicago will be on board.
Yeah, he'll have 4,000 yards. There's no doubt about it. And I know no Bear quarterback has done that. But if he doesn't have 4,000 yards, I think 4,000 yards in a playoff spot. If he does that, 4,000 yards, 9-8, that's a pretty damn successful season for the Bears. But as you said, you think that could even be a little bit higher.
I think it's going to be higher, and I think my man Urlacher is going to have to really fight for those billboards that he has up in Chicago, because if he goes for 4,000 yards and throws for 30 touchdowns, Caleb Williams will be on most of the billboards in Chicago.
It's crazy how many billboards Urlacher's still on. Coaching-wise, Eberflus, Shane Waldron, where's the confidence with the coaching staff?
I think I love Eberflus. Eberflus is, in my opinion, I think he's very similar to Coach Smith and what he did. A defensive-minded coach. He really cares about shutting people down. He cares about the guys running to the football. When you talk about Waldron, he's coming from a very similar situation out in Seattle where he had the 3 receivers that he had to get touches. So I think this time around, I think he can really get that done, making sure everybody stays happy. You got Cole Kmet, you got a running game. I think they're going to be on the field a lot, so he'll be able to satisfy all the mouths that he has to feed out there. It's just going to be finding what works, right? Do you come out throwing right away, or do you kind of ease Caleb into it by running the football early, trying to play more of a play action type football game? I'm not sure. Do you spread them out? You bring all 3 guys out there and you spread them out and you let Caleb throw the ball around. Is that what you're going to do? Because if you do that, and I know a lot of people want that to happen, December is coming, hey, November, December, January is coming, and you're not going to be able to do that when it's 0 degrees out there. So you better have a running game. You better make sure the offensive line has that certain amount of toughness about them that when we got to close a game at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, that we can go get it. We don't have to throw the ball, throw a dang bubble screen to get a yard or 2. And that's what we've seen over the last 10 years. That's what we've had to do with Tressman, with Nagy, and come on, guys. It's 4th and inches. Why are we in the shotgun? Those are the things that it bothers you as a Chicago Bear fan. But I hope, and I think we have the players, we have the personnel to be able to pick up that 3rd and inches. I think they've addressed some of the needs. You always want more. Okay, but they've done what they can to address the needs up to this point as far as the offensive line, the offensive firepower around the Caleb Williams, the defensive side of football. I think they've done a hell of a job putting together a really good football team.
Now, you think they could go to an NFC Championship game? I'm not going that far. I just said wild card round. But when you look at the rankings in the NFC North, I would say Lions are 1, Packers are 2, Bears are 3, Vikings are 4 heading into this season. How would you rank those teams 1, 2, 3, and 4 inside the North right now?
I don't think this Bears team is scared of Detroit. I don't. I think mentally to beat Green Bay, I think that's where the hurdle is. I think that's where the hurdle was for us. I think that's where the hurdle is for every Chicago team, honest Chicago Bear team. I think when you beat them, there's a different sort of confidence that come about you. Even when you go back and you look at the history of it, and just the Bears in 2001 went 13-3. 2 of those 3 losses was to Green Bay. It's like, what is happening? We go in 2006, we go and blow the doors off of them. The first game of the season in 2006, we go to the Super Bowl. It's just those things. Like, you got to be able to beat them. I think I said it last year and people killed me for it, but when Green Bay has a bad year, they're 8-8, or they're, in today's world, they're 8-9. Or 9-8. That's their bad year. Our bad year, we got the first pick.
Yeah.
So yes, they're the measuring stick. Okay, they're the measuring stick, and if you can beat them, I think there's a hurdle you cross. Just look at last year. Look at how good Detroit was,
especially week 1.
True. That Detroit was so good, and everybody was talking about them so well. That Bears team shouldn't have beat them and shouldn't have had them on the ropes in the other game. So I don't think this Bears team is scared of them. I think the hurdle will be Green Bay, and if you can beat them, I think the Bears can win this division.
You being a former Bear and you explaining the history of the Bears and the Packers, when you see the deal that Jordan Love got last week and what he was like down the stretch, are you just screaming in your house saying, man, here we go again with the Packers, from Favre to Rodgers, and now the next guy up is Jordan Love?
I honestly, like, how I am, I sit here and I scratch my head like, how in the hell do they keep doing this? Like, we go through 38 quarterbacks trying to find him, and they just pick one, and he's the right one. Like, how do y'all do this? Like, what is?
And no one wanted him. Outside of Gutekunst, no one wanted him.
Correct. Nobody wanted him. Look at Aaron Rodgers. How far he fell in the draft.
Yeah.
Look where Brett Favre was in Atlanta, and what they had to give up to get him. We're talking about 2 Hall of Famers and a guy that last game of the season when they played us, I was so mad. My first comment on NBC Chicago was, I want a guy like that. Why can't we get a guy like that? That's it. Like, that's what I want. We need a real quarterback, and I think we have one. I think we got it right this time. I think we have a quarterback that can lead us over the next 10, 12, 15 years, assuming he stays healthy and stays upright. I think the kid's just going to get better and better and better, and I think he wants to be great. So it's a good thing for the Bears and our fan base.
Well, let's be real. If this one does not work, Caleb Williams, with the situation he's walking to, I'm never taking a Bears quarterback serious again.
No, never again. I mean, it would be hard to take the Bears quarterback situation or the Bears picking a quarterback serious at all. Any quarterback they should pull the Eli Manning card if this doesn't work out.
I actually think you'd have some Packers fans that would feel bad for Bears fans if this one doesn't work out.
Right. I think Packer fans might be a little scared right now because they might be sitting in the back of the room saying, they might have got it right this time, And if we did, they already know we come with a defense all the time and we can run the football. So if we got a quarterback now with the weapons on the outside, it's going to be a lot of fun because there are a lot of teams in this division that the Packers are good, Detroit's good. I'm not sure about Minnesota, but they do have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So you always got to watch out for him. But we'll see. It's gonna be a lot of fun watching.
Always love when we get to connect with Alex Brown. Played for the Chicago Bears, made 2 Pro Bowls with them, and now does a great job, kick-ass job, NBC Sports Chicago. Alex, thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.